Adding, so what we're going to show here today is the ability to add locations using the form for the front end. I've already added some data. In this case, in this example that we're using, the client has more than one contact person for a local address. So this is to find your sales rep, for instance. So they have a contact, they could have a contact 1, add a second contact. Now what I've added here is some different options in Gravity Forms, which we'll look at. In this case, you can click more than one. Here, add a third contact. It's a radio button, so you can't click more than one option. And then a drop-down box. So these are just some of the different fields that we're going to look at, and more than one contact there. So we're going to go in the back end here and look at the form. So when you install the plugin, you'll get this addition added to your dashboard. Going to look at the forms that exist. This is the one that we were in, office locations, and we'll go in and do an edit here. What I like about it is we've got these advanced fields. When I can add the name, asking for the phone number, asking for the date, address, just with a click of a button. I don't have to reclassify what they are.
And the important thing about that, is that it actually does a little bit of logic. So if they type something in an email address, it's not something at something. It'll say enter a valid email address. Or with the phone, you can tell it follow the US/Canada format.
Yeah.
It will only allow that kind of thing. Websites, it demands an actual valid URL, that kind of thing, rather than just having a generic text field where you can put in anything, any string of characters, and just give you garbage data.
Right. We don't have to write any exception processing to confirm that it's an email or a correctly defined phone number. Or states. The states, you can see they're all a click down. But what we can do to edit, like an address field, so I can decide which address fields we're going to use. If I want country, I just click that on to have country, or since all of this is in the United States. Well, I can also have a default country, see that? So if I wanted to include country, but most it was going to be the United States, I could easily handle that. I just turned that off for this example, although I do have international as, there we go. Why did it pop back up there?
Because you have country checked below. There you go.
There we go. Even though I had it off.
Yeah.
Okay. For name, I get the same type of options here. Let's go into, I'm pretty sure I used this. I said it was name. I chose the name field, but I get to change what I'm going to call it. So I'm just doing first and last. But it doesn't have to be called name. I called it contact 2. In the appearance, I can pre-fill in information, and I can choose the visibility hidden. If I want to insert data into the form myself, but not have them see it, I can set it up as hidden. If you're doing exports, for instance, you may want content in there. Especially you might want to know what page they had filled this form out on if you're using it in more than one location. Very customizable, where you can put in your own custom class. And in the advanced fields, I can allow field to be populated dynamically. So if they filled out one form and I'm going to send them to another form, I can pre-fill that information in here. That can be handy if you're getting contact information and you ask them a question, yes, no. And the yes means further information, and I want to take them to another form and not ask them to enter all of their contact information again. Just a nice way to let them know that you're respectful of their time. How many times have you gotten to you've said yes to something, you're back to the beginning of adding all your information? That kind of frustrates me. You don't know me very well, I feel, if you ask for that. form settings, things you can do in your form. Title it as you wish. You can play around with these form layouts, the label placement, the description placement, if you're going to use it or not. We can decide that. Another nice thing is I can change this to be anything that I want it to be. Submit or update or anything. Sign me up. Yeah. You can use marketing terms. Or if I have a styled website, I may have an image, and I can define the image for that. I'm going to show you conditional logic later. If it's a really long form, you can do a save and continue. Okay.
Have you found a way to stylize the button to match your theme? Because it comes with its own style.
Sure.
Yes, you do it in the.
Is there an easy? I mean, I know how to do it, but is there a little check mark someplace that I can say?
No, it's CSS.
You grab in your theme. You grab the Gravity Form CSS, and you'll just put in your customizer and edit it, right?
I know. What you mean? Yeah.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter for SEO whether you say submit or not. Create an image.
Question on that while we're on the styling. On the custom CSS, there's a spot to custom class in there.
But not on the button.
Right. But do we have easy access to the resulting code so we can be targeting the various elements we have customized?
So the question was, how would you target the code in order to customize it? And that, if I understand that correctly, that would be your dev tools, which I think we had a meeting on that. You would view it from the front end, right, and then go into customize. Well, you can even play with it on the front end and then copy that and put it in your customizer. This can be handy. Schedule a form. So if you're going to have, for instance, early bird pricing, you can schedule this form with a certain price to come on from certain date to certain date, then another form from another time to, so what do you say when you schedule the form? I can do it by the date and the time. So I could change my pricing right on the website. There's probably other ways to do that, but this might be the poor man's way to do it.
I've never used that. So what does that do exactly? Because this is a form that you're in right now. Does it hide this form?
Yes.
On the page?
It'll hide the form. So I'll be showing you how you'll you'll embed the short code for your form, and you would just embed two forms scheduled differently. So one would come on, the other one would go off, and the other one would come on. You might have user required to be logged in to use this. In the example I'm giving, that would be a good way to use it, because I've designed this form for the internal administrator to keep up to date where their office locations are. So I wouldn't want that open to everybody. Make them be logged in, but yet they're working on the front end of the website rather than having to be in the dashboard, which can be much nicer for people. I don't know if you're all familiar with Honeypot for spam. I'll explain what that is. When a bot sees the back end of a form, they see every field, and they can just throw in information into it and hit the submit button. With Honeypot, there is an additional form that is created that's not visible, and when the bots throw data into it, Gravity Form says, nobody sees this but a bot, therefore you are a bot. And there is a whole company that maintains this Honeypot as well, that looks for who's spamming out there. I've never used animated transitions, have you? I don't even know what it is.
If you turn on like conditional logic and it opens certain divs with buttons and stuff, it either pops open immediately or slides up and down.
Oh, okay. So it slides up and down.
All that does is add extra CSS crap to your page.
This right here, allow inline edit when viewing this form entries in Gravity Forms. That is from Gravity Views. That is not a Gravity Forms feature. It is showing up though, which is pretty nice. they work nicely together because on form settings it makes sense to have that data available there and not somewhere else hidden in a gravity view. Confirmations that you get, it knows when I'm going to leave. Confirmations are when someone submits the button, what should I do? Should I just display thank you for doing that on the page, or should I go to some of the things you should do? You can either display text on the page, you can go to a page, or you can redirect somewhere else. So if I go to a page, I said I wanted to go to the page add locations, because in this case I want him to press the enter button and then be able to go in and add more information. That's specific to this usage. Most of the time you're going to say thank you very much for reaching out to us. What would you like to, I don't know, what would you like to do next? We'll be back to you.
So it reloads the page with a blank form on.
Yep, in this case.
So,
And you can have more than one confirmation.
I usually send them to a page for a variety of reasons, but if you just choose the default confirmation, is there a way to make it go to where it is on the page? Because I've had that, show up way down here, and the page reloads, and they don't know what
Do you hit edit? You probably, the way you would normally do that would be to put an anchor on it and have it put that into the query, into the URL string, so it would know to jump down the page anchor. It would work, except there's no way there to do it unless you do redirect. Can you click on redirect?
So the question was, is there a way to, if you keep them on the same page where they filled in the form, is there a way to take them down to the bottom of the form where it says thank you?
Actually,
So I'll just Google how to do that.
yeah, right. Yeah, just like Gravity Forms Ajax Submit. Well, they did. It is. It's built in. You just have to know to turn it on.
Yeah.
When you click the Gravity Forms button to generate the short code for the form, that's where that.
Yeah, that's where it is. We can look at that on a page.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay, so notifications. I might want to send the client, these people filled in the form at the website, and I want to send the form submitter a nice marketing message. This is where you set that up. You'd have more than one notification. And you can, when the form is submitted, you send the email, select a field. If it's going to go to the person who filled it out, that's the email that I entered when I built the form. The from would be, so this would be something that would come to the client. The from would be their, last name. Okay. The from email address. So they're just buttons. And then I can fill in, I can choose what fields are going to be there, as well as add all the text that I want to add. Right in here. And save it, and it's going to be triggered on the send when it's submitted.